What if the exhaustion you feel is not just emotional fatigue, but a biological storm silently reshaping your brain? What if the pressure you carry every day is not simply part of life, but a neurochemical force steadily recalibrating your cravings, your impulses, and even your identity? Chronic stress is not a metaphor. It is not weakness. It is a measurable neuroendocrine cascade that begins with survival and can end in dependency if left unexamined. Each time stress becomes prolonged, your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis activates and releases cortisol into your bloodstream. In short bursts, cortisol sharpens attention and mobilizes energy. But when stress becomes relentless, cortisol does not switch off. It lingers. It saturates. It alters neural circuitry in ways that are subtle at first and profound over time. Inside the brain, cortisol interfaces directly with dopamine pathways in the mesolimbic reward system, particularly within the nucleus accumbens and ventral tegmental area. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter of motivation and reinforcement. Under chronic stress conditions, elevated cortisol amplifies dopaminergic signaling in response to high-salient stimuli, especially substances or behaviors that promise relief. The brain begins to associate escape with reward. Craving intensifies. Impulse control weakens. Sensitivity to substance-related cues becomes heightened, almost automatic. This is not a character flaw, it is neuroadaptation. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for executive regulation, foresight, and inhibitory control, becomes functionally compromised under sustained cortisol exposure. Decision-making grows reactive rather than reflective. Choices that once seemed irrational begin to feel compelling, even necessary. In midlife adults, cumulative burdens compound this vulnerability. Career pressures, caregiving responsibilities, financial uncertainty, and emerging health concerns converge to create persistent stress arousal. Cortisol remains elevated not for minutes but for months or years. In this biochemical climate, alcohol misuse, stimulant overuse, emotional eating, and behavioral addictions become disproportionately attractive because they offer immediate dopaminergic relief. Relief becomes reinforcement. Reinforcement becomes repetition. Repetition becomes pattern. Over time, structural and functional changes occur within neural circuits governing reward and self-control. The brain is not broken, it is adapting to chronic threat signals. Yet that adaptation carries consequences. As emphasized in the work of Dr. Anna Lempisi, addiction is often less about pleasure and more about pain avoidance. The brain under stress is not chasing euphoria, it is seeking equilibrium. Dopamine spikes offer temporary counterbalance to cortisol-driven distress, but the relief is transient. The system recalibrates downward. Baseline dopamine decreases. The individual requires more stimulation to feel normal. This is the paradox of chronic stress. The very mechanisms designed for survival can, when continuously activated, erode resilience. Cravings become louder. Patience becomes thinner. The ability to delay gratification shrinks. What began as coping subtly evolves into compulsion. Understanding this biology reframes addiction risk from moral failure to predictable neurophysiological response. When stress persists, the brain's reward circuitry does not remain neutral, it reorganizes around whatever reliably reduces discomfort. This reorganization happens quietly, beneath awareness, long before behavior appears extreme. Recognizing the brain-hormone connection is the first step toward reclaiming agency. When you understand that chronic stress is sculpting your neural pathways, you can begin to intervene not with shame, but with strategy, interrupting the cycle before adaptation hardens into addiction. But here is where the story becomes more unsettling, because the brain does not simply react to chronic stress, it begins to anticipate it. When cortisol remains elevated for extended periods, the nervous system recalibrates its baseline expectations of the world. Neutral situations are interpreted as threatening. Ambiguity feels unsafe. The amygdala, central to fear processing, becomes hyper-responsive, while the prefrontal cortex loses regulatory precision. This imbalance quietly shifts behavior toward immediacy and away from long-term reasoning. Under these conditions, the reward system becomes hypersensitized not to joy, but to relief. Relief becomes the most powerful currency in the brain. The mesolimbic dopamine pathway no longer signals excitement alone, it signals escape. A drink after work, a stimulant to push through fatigue, scrolling endlessly for distraction, Overeating to numb discomfort. Each action carries amplified motivational weight because it promises short-term cortisol reduction. The nervous system learns quickly. Repetition strengthens synaptic connections through long-term potentiation. Neural pathways that once represented optional behaviors become prioritized circuits. Meanwhile, executive control networks in the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex weaken under sustained stress hormone exposure, reducing cognitive flexibility and inhibitory control. The individual may still intellectually understand the risks, yet the motivational circuitry overrides intention. This divergence between knowledge and behavior often generates shame, but the underlying mechanism is neurobiological, not moral. Suspense builds in this process because the changes are incremental and largely invisible. There is no dramatic moment when someone decides to become dependent. Instead, the shift occurs through cumulative microadaptations. Cortisol interacts with dopamine receptors, altering receptor density and signaling efficiency. Over time, baseline dopamine tone declines, leading to anhedonia, the reduced capacity to feel pleasure from ordinary activities. Life feels flatter, motivation feels dulled. In this depleted state, high-intensity stimuli become disproportionately attractive. Substances or behaviors that sharply increase dopamine provide contrast against the emotional grayness created by chronic stress. The more frequently relief is sought through external stimuli, the more the brain reduces its intrinsic capacity to generate reward. This is the neurochemical trap. What once served as coping becomes necessary for emotional regulation. For midlife adults facing layered responsibilities, this dynamic can be particularly potent. The convergence of caregiving demands, occupational strain, financial pressures, and physiological aging compounds stress load. Sleep becomes fragmented. Recovery windows shrink. Cortisol rhythms flatten, losing their healthy diurnal variation. Without restoration, the stress response system remains chronically engaged. Relapse risk increases not because willpower disappears, but because the neuroendocrine environment favors impulsive relief-seeking. Environmental cues become powerful triggers through associative learning. The brain encodes context, location, and emotional state alongside the rewarding stimulus. Later, exposure to those cues activates dopaminergic firing even before a substance or behavior is engaged, generating craving that feels urgent and intrusive. This anticipatory dopamine spike, intensified by stress hormones, narrows attention and biases decision-making. The prefrontal cortex attempts regulation, but under cortisol's influence its signaling is less efficient. The internal experience can feel like a tug-of-war, yet the imbalance is biochemical. The suspense lies in recognizing that the longer stress remains unaddressed, the more entrenched these neural adaptations become. However, entrenchment does not mean permanence. Neuroplasticity works in both directions. Just as stress can sensitize craving circuits, deliberate stress modulation can recalibrate them. Understanding this dual capacity introduces hope, but it also introduces responsibility, because once the biological mechanisms are visible, ignoring them becomes a conscious choice rather than an unconscious drift. The turning point begins with a radical shift in perspective. Addiction vulnerability under chronic stress is not evidence of weakness, but evidence of adaptation. When the brain has been conditioned to expect threat, it will reorganize itself around whatever reliably reduces distress. That reorganization is efficient, logical, and predictable. The question is not whether the brain adapts, but in which direction it adapts. If prolonged cortisol exposure has strengthened craving circuits and weakened executive control, then the effects of cortisol on the brain are more complex than previously thought. Then deliberate stress modulation can gradually reverse that imbalance. The nervous system is plastic across the lifespan. Neurogenesis in the hippocampus, synaptic remodeling in the prefrontal cortex, and receptor recalibration within dopamine pathways remain possible well into midlife and beyond. However, recalibration requires consistency and intentionality. Evidence-based stress regulation strategies operate directly on the same neurobiological systems that chronic stress disrupts. Regular aerobic exercise lowers baseline cortisol and enhances dopamine receptor sensitivity, improving mood stability and impulse control. Structured sleep hygiene restores circadian cortisol rhythm, allowing the body to reestablish predictable hormonal cycles. Mindfulness-based stress reduction attenuates amygdala hyperactivity while strengthening prefrontal regulatory networks, improving emotional regulation and cognitive flexibility. Social connection, often underestimated, buffers stress reactivity by increasing oxytocin and moderating hypothalamic pituitary adrenal activation. Even controlled exposure to manageable stressors, such as cold exposure or interval training, can build resilience through hormesis, teaching the nervous system to activate and deactivate efficiently, rather than remain chronically engaged. Nutritional stability also plays a critical role, as blood glucose volatility can amplify stress responses and intensify craving. These interventions are not superficial lifestyle tips, they are targeted neuroendocrine recalibration tools. When practiced consistently, they reduce the intensity of cortisol signaling and restore dopaminergic balance, decreasing the urgency of relief-seeking behaviors. Importantly, reducing stress does not eliminate life's demands, it changes the brain's interpretation of them. The prefrontal cortex regains metabolic efficiency, enhancing planning capacity and inhibitory control. Decision-making shifts from reactive to deliberate. Cravings may still arise, but their amplitude diminishes, and the individual experiences a wider gap between impulse and action. That gap is where agency lives. Understanding relapse through this lens also transforms recovery strategy. Relapse often follows periods of acute or cumulative stress because stress reactivates sensitized dopamine pathways. Preparing for predictable stress cycles, career transitions, caregiving intensification, financial strain allows for proactive buffering rather than reactive repair. The brain thrives on predictability. When stress management becomes ritualized rather than optional, the neuroendocrine system stabilizes. Over time, baseline dopamine tone improves, and everyday activities regain their intrinsic reward value. Pleasure no longer depends solely on high-intensity stimulation. This restoration process is gradual, and impatience can undermine it, because the brain recalibrates at a slower pace than it dysregulates. Yet progress is measurable in improved mood variability, reduced craving frequency, and enhanced cognitive clarity. The deeper philosophical insight is that stress, while unavoidable, does not have to become identity. You are not your cortisol levels. You are not your cravings. You are a dynamic biological system capable of recalibration. When you understand the brain-hormone connection, you move from self-judgment to strategic intervention. That shift alone reduces psychological stress, creating a reinforcing cycle of empowerment rather than shame. The same neuroplasticity that once encoded compulsion can encode resilience. Every regulated breath, every restorative sleep cycle, every intentional pause before reaction sends corrective signals through neural networks. Adaptation remains inevitable, but direction becomes a choice guided by awareness and discipline. If you are benefiting from our topics, please subscribe, like, and turn on the bell notifications so you can see our new videos early.